our business name is RentMyRV. Obviously, we lease RVs for vacations. Oh, thank you. What would I do without the nuts and bolts guy? Okay, we lease RVs for vacations, extra sleeping space at the holidays, just about anything you can think of, we've rented an RV for. And there's not very many actual companies that do it, but of course there are online businesses that you can rent RVs through. And we're going to talk about why we're a little bit different than the online companies. But we are passionate about providing families with the experience of going out and being outdoors and camping together. It's a great experience. And for a lot of people that either don't have the financial wherewithal to own an RV and store it and maintain it, but some people just don't want to be bothered with that aspect of owning an RV. It's a lot of work to keep up an RV. And actually, travel trailers, RVs, whatever you have, they're better off if they're being used rather than sitting in storage in between your usages. That's what a lot of people don't understand. They'll have their RV sit for a few months, they'll go out and want to take it out, and something's not working right, it deteriorates while it sits. And so we have the RVs that are constantly going out, constantly being maintained, and they're kept in good shape. So what do we do better than the online companies like RV Share and Outdoorsy? We are available to the renters just about any time. If something comes up, they forgot how to use something, they're having problems, they don't know how to do something, wish things were better, they can give us a call on the phone. We give them our cell phones and they can call us and we can help them through whatever it is they're having issues with. We keep our trailers very clean and looking like new. My husband does what he calls the see and smell test. So if you go to RV Share or Outdoorsy, you can't call that owner and say, I want to see the RV before I rent it. With us you can. We'll take you out there, you can see, you can go in and make sure it's, you don't want to rent an RV that smells like it's, got mildew or, that looks trashy. You want a nice RV if you're going to be paying for it, right? Our pricing is very competitive and lower than almost every company out there. One of our big differences is on our Class C or on any motorhome when you rent one, typically you have to pay a per mile charge. We want our customers to know what their cost is up front. We don't want them to feel like we're nickeling and diming them for every penny they've got. So our price does not include a per mile charge, and that's different than any other company. We just had our Class C go to Pennsylvania, and it's about to go to California. That would be a huge per mile charge, but we don't charge that. You can use all aspects of the trailer, and there are no features that are off limits. So a lot of the online companies, you can't use the slide. They don't want you to turn on the oven. They don't, what?
Can't use the awning.
Yeah, you can't use the awning. We don't do that. If there's something on that RV, it's available for your use. We do a complete walkthrough and explain how things work before you leave. And you can schedule a pickup and drop off at a time that's convenient for you. How we got started, I had some friends who had that pop-up trailer right there, and they let us borrow it to take it camping one weekend. And we took our 4-year-old son to Dinosaur Valley, and we were hooked. We had so much fun. Well, it wasn't much longer, and they decided they were going to sell it, so we decided to buy it. And from there, we just kind of kept upgrading the RVs until we got to bigger and bigger RVs. When we were living in Dallas, we had 2 units, and we mostly rented to weekend rentals, Jimmy Buffett concerts, and NASCAR, which we wish we could still provide some RVs for NASCAR, because that's an awesome experience. We moved to Lubbock in August of 2016. We had to hold off on building our business when we got here because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to stay in Lubbock. We might have to move back to Dallas. So about 6 months ago, they decided I could stay here permanently, which we're very excited about. And so in the last year, we've really worked hard to build our business here. Our income streams, we have 3 units that we own ourselves, 2 travel trailers and a Class C. And then we have 3 additional units that we manage for other owners, and we take a percentage of the rental. So other people can own RVs for their own use, but when they're not using it, they can rent it through us, and we share the profits. We do deliveries up to 150 miles, and one thing we do offer is if somebody wanted to, say, go to Buffalo Springs, if it's in the local area, we'll deliver it, set it up, pick it up, take it back, dump it for $50. That's to encourage rentals, first-time renters who don't want to go very far, but they want that camping experience. So for $50, we take care of all the headache and you go out and enjoy it. $50 plus the rental, of course. We also rent equipment such as generators and black water tanks for dry camping. Do y'all know what dry camping is? That's where you don't have an electrical hookup or sewer hookups, and we can provide you what you need to take that RV and go somewhere out in somebody's pasture if that's what you wanted to do, or in the mountains that's off-road. That's dry camping, and we can help you do that. In the next year, we'd like to figure out how to kind of get into the tailgating business at the tech games, wedding venues. We've talked about partnering with Cheers Party Bus to set up kind of a venue for like girls' weekends or whatever, where we take the RVs out there, get them all set up, kind of set up the scene for them. They take them out there and pick them up and take them back. So we're going to be working on that in the next year. What? Oh, okay. So our biggest challenge is financing. We'd like to have a brick and mortar location so that we have storage spots for the RVs, because that's really difficult for us. We're having a hard time adding to our inventory because we don't have, it's hard to get RV storage here in Lubbock. And so if we could get the financing, we could have our own storage facility where we put ours, and we could also rent out to other people to help offset that cost. So, and then in 5 years, we'd love to have a nonprofit to support people, women with small children who would otherwise be maybe in a shelter, because we get those calls a lot, but we just don't have anything we can service them with. So that's about it.
All right. Great. Does anybody have any questions?
So solicit people that own RVs to add to your available fleet, or is that something you're not actively doing?
Well, we've only done that a little bit, like at Hub City Barbecue, we were set up out there and we had some flyers for people who own RVs, but we don't really know how to go about doing that for RV owners who want to offset their cost of ownership. We don't know how to tie into those people. We haven't figured that out.
What were the rates?
So for a travel trailer, we have small ones that start out at $100 a night to, we have 3 that are $130 a night and 1 that's $150 a night because it's a really big one. Our Class C is $225 a night, which is a very competitive rate. But on top of that, we don't charge the per mile charge, so our Class C is very affordable. And we were kind of nervous about adding it because it's an expensive piece of equipment. We didn't know how well it'd rent, but it is by far our most popular unit.
Thank you.
With other RVs owned by other people, do their insurance companies have a problem with them renting it out, or do you provide a supplemental insurance? Or
well, this is the way we've recently switched our online reservation system to, it's called Wheelbase Pro. And so whenever a renter rents an RV, they pay insurance on the RV while it's out. We share that cost with the renter. We don't pass it on to them 100%. And that gives full coverage up to $1 million for both for the renter and for us. And then when it's not on the road, we just have to have a small storage, what they call a storage policy. So, when it's at the storage facility, if it got hit by a tornado or if it had a fire or something, it would cover in those circumstances. So, normally the insurance company doesn't care because, we've got up to $1 million of coverage when it's on the road.
I think, what is it? Rental cars, rental companies, they usually have an age limit. Do you guys have an age limit that you guys like to enforce?
Yes, they cannot rent from us unless they're 25 or older, and we just had that recently. Now, they can rent it as long as they're not driving it, which would require us to deliver it. We had somebody who wanted an RV out at Lake Meredith, and the delivery charge was just too much that, you know, it's a bunch of young kids, and they couldn't hardly swallow the delivery charge, which is good, because, you know, you run the risk when you have kids that young that they're not gonna take care of it like you wanted to. And that's part of the pricing guideline. You know, we want it to be expensive enough that it's gonna be people who will take care of it, but not so expensive that we discourage rentals to, you know, everyday people, so.
Have you ever had someone really mistreat them?
We've had a couple of those occasions, but not anything we weren't able to overcome. One of our first experiences was at NASCAR. Somebody had a fire, but of course that was covered by insurance, and now you would never know that there was a fire. We did have one in Midland where they did quite a lot of damage, but they paid for all the damage, so we were able to repair it. My husband has learned to fix just about anything to the point that you can't tell anything ever happened. So he's done a really great job of that, and I'm so grateful. Yeah. So.
What do y'all do for your H5 jobs?
I'm a federal employee, so I'm off today.
I'm a school bus driver for a local group of pirates and a special needs bus driver.
But he would love to build a business to the point where he's not driving a bus anymore. So that's kind of how we help make ends meet until the business is big enough that he can rely on that for his income.
How do you ensure on the front end when a rental is made that the renter has adequate tooling for your repairs?
I'm gonna let you answer that.
We tried, I'm talking here now, we did all.
He usually, so before a rental goes out, he has a conversation with them. What are you gonna be pulling it with? Where are you gonna be going? Are you gonna be doing any hills? And so he can help them decide which RV is right for the unit that they're pulling it with.
What would you say is your biggest month-to-month expense in terms of operating RVs and rentals?
Definitely storage.
Storage.
And that's why it would make sense for us, you know, we're a new company, we have great credit history personally, but the business has none.
Sure.
And so we would love to be able to figure out how to get that storage facility so that we can not only can we meet that part of the consumer that needs a place to store their RVs, but we can continue adding to our fleet. At this point, we're kind of limited into how much we can add to our fleet just because there's not storage space available. And we want covered storage because if we're going to be managing somebody's asset, we want it to be well protected. So we don't want, open air storage.
Hailstorm that will destroy it.
Yeah.
Well, here's, just to throw this out there, I mean, you could build your own RV storage, store your RVs there, and have other people pay you to store their RVs there as well. I mean, that's another income stream that you might consider.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, but like we said, we're back to that financing segment,
Somebody will give you some money.
What?
Somebody will give you some money.
So we just need to keep shopping around. I really think that we can, we are almost the only rental company in the tri-state area. We did hear that just 2 days ago that there was one, but they only have 2 units and they're really older units. They're really not competition for us. And so,
What about the one in Wolford?
They're gone,
Oh, right.
yeah, they
We
closed
live in
up shop
Wolford.
earlier.
but they would have business and move to Waco or something like that.
Yeah.
No.
What steps have you taken to look at funding for something like that?
We really haven't. Because I'm assuming we don't have the business doesn't have the financial credit to do that. And so we do have a guy that is going to help us, kind of iron out like what a location would have to include, what it's going to cost to get a dump put in, a high pressure wash, so that the first thing we need to do is figure out, what has to be there and what it's going to cost us so that whenever we go and ask for financing, this is what we're going to have in order to make it work. So we've got to figure that out first before we start going to people for financing.
Well, and I see this a lot, is that there's the biggest problem even with and this is from hard-earned learning of our own, is you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
There may be lots of opportunities out there for you guys. I would suggest reaching out to like a small business development center, anybody in this room, the Small Business Association. There's lenders like People Fund, a couple others, I can't remember exactly the names of them. But I would say that there are resources, ecosystem resources here that you can take advantage of. And so be asking.
Okay.
And maybe if anybody here in the room has any recommendations for them, then take this opportunity or get up with them later to talk about it. But there's a lot of help out there, especially in the knowledge area of things. And so I would encourage you to try to take advantage of as much of that as possible.
That's
And
great.
a good starting place for that would be the SBDC, because they can tell you other things too. Are you familiar with the SBDC?
No.
Okay, Small Business Development Center is federally, well, it's actually, is it federally funded in Texas? Okay, so, but it's associated, it's the Texas Tech University Small Business Development Center. It is in the Science Spectrum building over there on the south side of town. You guys know what that is?
No, but we will certainly look it up.
Yeah, just Google Small Business Development Center. They have consultants there. You'll sign up. It'll be free. They'll talk to you. If you're going to borrow money, you're going to have a business plan. You're going to have revenue projection. You're going to have expense projections, all of that stuff, and they can help you to put all that stuff together. And then maybe they can, help you to talk to the Small Business Association, who can maybe tell you what lenders to talk to and guide you with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I would highly recommend that.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, does anybody else have any recommendations for along those lines? Yeah. I don't know, I mean, you guys need a lot of space, so I don't think that it would be worth trying to pursue a place in downtown. If you pursue a place in downtown, the other might be able to help a little bit, because they have a downtown initiative, a downtown revitalization initiative. But if you're trying to store a lot of stuff, I don't think downtown would work for you.
We're looking at some place off of, was it Brownfield Highway, I guess?
Yeah.
Downtown, that's for sale.
Yeah.
We need to ask this guy who's been doing designing and storage the last 30 years, so.
Awesome. And this is the best part about 1 Million Cups, is you guys didn't know some stuff, and now
No,
you,
that's awesome.
that's kind of the reason that we do this, so yeah.
That's very
How
great.
are we doing on time? Probably ought to wrap it up. Does anybody have any more questions? Okay, so what can we do as a community for you guys?
Just help us get the word out. Help people know that that's a thing. Like when we were at Hub City Barbecue, which was huge for us, people would go, really, you're kidding? You mean you can rent an RV? And it's just such a great family experience or friends experience, because you're not distracted by, computers and TV, and you can as much as you want, but you have that opportunity to get away and really connect with people or your family or whatever, and it's such a great thing. And that's why, we're so passionate about it, is because we really want people to experience what we've gotten to experience. And I think our family's very close because we started very young, just being away from things and spending time together, and it's been a great experience.